Hello everyone, John Donnelly from Your Holistic Academy. A very special guest with me today, Angeline Collins. Angeline, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, still in recovery. Yeah, still in recovery from shingles after Christmas, but I'm getting there.
Okay, Angeline, I'm so delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you today because you're part of a very special what would I call it, movement right now, and it's around ohana.ie, and ohana.ie is all around the conversation around suicide prevention. Yeah, so can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how you set that up, Angeline?
Well, ohana means family in Hawaiian, and a wee Disney cartoon years ago said that family means no one is left behind. So that's where we're coming from. We want everybody to do this program so that at least we're equipped to know what to do in the case of somebody feeling suicidal or feeling depressed or feeling down. So we got together at probably the summer. I realized that everything had stopped regarding training, face-to-face training, like the Assist program and the Safe Talk programs. And I had put something up online where somebody had come back to me with a very strange comment. And I rang them immediately and I said, is everything okay? And they just said, no, I'm feeling suicidal. And because I had done this training some time ago, and I had done a lot of voluntary work with a suicide prevention organization, I just knew to go and talk to them. And as a result of that, they got the help that they needed. And recently I got a text from them saying, you saved my life. I am in such a good place now. And thank you so much. So that's what I saw, that there was a huge need for something like that, because really, I suppose with COVID, the people that you would have thought were really strong and able to deal with everything suddenly became very fragile, very vulnerable, because things had completely changed in the world. So we got a team around us that were not only passionate about the same way as I felt about it, and bought into it, but also owned the idea of really getting something out there that would make a difference. The professionals were saying that we were going to have a mental health crisis on our hands, and yet there was really nothing available. There was a lot of things in the pipeline, but there was nothing actually available. And while Christmas was coming and New Year were coming, which are kind of serious spike times for suicide, we saw that there was a huge need for something. And we were so lucky, because when we started to research what was available, the UK ZSA, Zero Suicide Alliance, had a fantastic program available that was easily accessible, 30 minutes long, and gave you the tools to know what to do, to know what to say, and to know where to get the help. And that's what we got. We contacted Angela Samata originally. Herself and Jane Boland had put this program together. And the support that we got from them was just overwhelming for a start. The fact that all they wanted to do was share this program with everybody. Angela herself had been bereaved by suicide, and she just did not want anybody else to suffer the way she had suffered. So we talked to them, we had meetings with them, and they actually were so supportive that they even paid for a lot of the changes that we had to make to the program to make it Ireland friendly and Northern Ireland friendly, just on the island of Ireland as a whole. Okay. So yeah, that's where it started. And our initial plan was to try and reach 5,000 people by, sorry, my phone's starting to ring there. 5,000 people by February. That was our short-term goal. And just before I came on here, we have had 110,500 people have accessed to training. So that's unbelievable. Staggering. It's staggering. It just shows that the need and the hunger and the desire for people as communities just to be able to support and to be proactive as opposed to being reactive, I suppose, you know, to suicide.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and it's a fantastic response, Angeline, and it's such a worthy initiative. And I mean, the figures are obviously going to grow and grow and grow as the awareness increases, but it's like word of mouth, I guess, now as well. That's building the numbers for you. But obviously the timing of this is perfect, because the environment out there is a lot of fear and a lot of concern, and as you said, mental health awareness. It's the perfect timing for this, Angeline, for you to be doing this, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, things have changed so much. The isolation, people are being bereaved that we're not expecting to be bereaved. People are losing their jobs. People's finances are changing completely. Relationships are suffering because of, you know, being, you know, in your bubble for so long. We're not used to that. Children under your feet all the time, you know, not being able to, you know, go further than 5K at the moment. I mean, it's a huge change for everybody. You know, like you said to me earlier, you have somebody in Perth. I have a daughter in Perth and a son in Philadelphia. My plan was to travel as much as I could when I reached 60. And that has all completely changed, you know, so people that wouldn't have been, or we wouldn't have seen as vulnerable a year ago, are suddenly the most vulnerable because their lives have been changed so dramatically.
Yeah. So this is a community movement, Angeline, and the training itself is pretty easy to for anybody to access, and it's very, very straightforward for people. But it's building awareness. That's really the key to it, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. The training is so easily accessible. I mean, you can do it on your phone. You can do it on your lunch hour. It takes anything between 20 and 40 minutes, depending on how IT savvy you are. It took me 40 minutes the first time. But young people, you know, particularly, they've shared all, you know, their certificates online saying 20 minutes, and this is just amazing. You know, because it's almost, I suppose you could describe it as CPR for mental health, or, you know, a first aid course for mental health, because we have that for physical health. But it's just, you know, even knowing what to see, to look out for, knowing what to say, and then knowing what to do. It's so important. It's like if somebody falls off a horse or falls off a ladder, you just knowing not to move them until the ambulance comes could be enough to save their life or save them from being in a wheelchair for life. So it's the same thing with suicide prevention. You staying with that person until the help comes could make all the difference. Or you knowing what to say, you know, not to say, we're all, you know, we all think we know what to say. And, you know, sometimes you can say, she'll be grand, and shall we go for a drink, you know, or we'll go to, you can't do that anymore right now, of course. But some people might think that's the answer. And, you know, I felt like that before, and, you know, you'll be grand. But that may not be the case. And just having the skills to know, and the empathy to actually, you know, and the compassion could make all the difference to that person.
Sure, Angeline. And is there anyone can take the training, or is there age limits or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, it's actually advised for over 18s at the moment. Yeah, and all the people in the scenarios, there's short videos of different scenarios, and they are all over 18, you know, so that's what's recommended, and that's what we would recommend. Also, if you have been bereaved by suicide, or you may be suicidal, then it's advisable that you have somebody with you when you're doing the training, because there are parts of it that are challenging for some people, you know, so that's all on the website, though. That information is given there as well.
Yeah, and then your website is all the supports for the Irish community are listed on your website, and part of the training is that to know where to go, who to reach out to, like the Samaritans or Pieta House or all the different agencies that. But then if I'm living in a different country, then I can still take the training, but I would need to find the local supports in that community. Yeah.
Exactly. The training is suitable for anybody in the world. It's the same training. We're all human, and we all have the same issues. So if you're taking it, say, in Australia, or you're taking it in somewhere outside of the island of Ireland, or the UK, then you just Google your resources, I suppose, is probably the handiest thing to have, because if you are talking to somebody that you think may need help, you're better to have that information with you before you talk to them, rather than saying, coming and starting the conversation and then saying, I'll have to leave you and find out what we have to do next. It's better and it's more advisable to have that information with you before you open the conversation.
Yeah, sure. And it's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about Angeline, because you have a day job as well, Angeline, yeah?
I have a day job, yeah. I've worked in the HSE for 30 years with special needs. And as I say, I'm off sick at the moment because when everybody else almost in my department came down with COVID, I came down with shingles. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, I am recovering fairly well at the moment. But also, I've worked with suicide prevention for 6 years, which kind of, I suppose, happened by default. But I learned so much from that. I learned so much from listening to people talking about their experiences of losing somebody to suicide, or having suicidal ideation, attempting suicide themselves. And I really became passionate about it. And I suppose I had forgotten almost that I had attempted suicide myself when I was 14, and I had buried that so deeply, and I never thought I'd be able to talk about it to anybody. But from listening to the people that were so strong and so compassionate, I just thought, when I turned 60 in March, and one of my friends, actually, Doreen, died very suddenly at 60. I thought, life is short, and life, really, what are we here for? And I really want to make a difference to people. Suicide is not the answer. Yeah. Things can change. There's always hope. Yeah. And I really want, communities to try and be proactive, because communities are fantastic. When something happens, when somebody has a problem, they'll rally around and they react, and they're great. But I would love to see a community that can be proactive and have people prepared and educated in this area, so that we can prevent a lot of the devastation that can happen, so.
And like the numbers are just for every one person, Angeline, there's how many people affected, directly affected, if you like. In the
they reckon that the ripple effect is probably around 120 people, and it's probably even more than that if you talk, if you think about a community, could be, somebody that you see in a shop, or somebody that plays on a football field. I might know them just from seeing them at a distance, but it still affects me, hugely affects me, because it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking that somebody has come to that point in their lives,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then for generations to come, then the family, I mean, it's like almost like part of that, I don't know, part of the collective psyche of the family for generations afterwards, and as well,
Yeah, and I often think, if I had been successful, and now I see that failure as my biggest success, not having failed to take my own life at the time. And I often think about, that effect, how that would have affected my family. They didn't have any idea about how I was feeling. Yeah. And it would have been a complete shock to them. And it would have had a profound difference on how we would all have, all grown up, and my community at that time as well. It would have changed the dynamics so much.
Sure. Yeah. So just back to the training itself, because I took the training, Angela. So there's three basic things: what you see, what you say, and then the signposts.
Yes. So it's that simple. Yeah, it's that simple. It's like show you care, ask the question, and then make the call. And show you care is not like as if people don't care, but it's like actually saying, "Are you okay?" And it could be to a complete stranger. That you just see, maybe, somewhere that would be an unusual place to see somebody, and just reaching out and saying those words, are you okay? Is there something wrong? You're not yourself if it's somebody that you know. I've just noticed a difference in your behavior, something like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's the first thing. And then knowing what to say, using the right words, not being afraid to say, are you suicidal? And that's really, really important, because evidence shows that that will not put the idea into anybody's head.
Yeah.
But it can make a difference. The evidence shows if you don't say it, they can go on to take their own life, because, you know, you haven't asked that question. And then signpost, as in show you care, ask the question, make the call, just get the help. And it may not necessarily always be suicide. It could be just somebody having an anxiety attack, a panic attack. Maybe they just need counseling, staff care, or some just somebody to talk over something that has come up at the moment. So it's not always, you know, that serious, but just to be aware that it could be.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, really, John, that's really important, is that when you do this 30-minute training, you're not qualified or you're not professional.
Yeah.
Really, all you are is simply, you know, educated in those 3 areas, and being able to do the next thing is to get help. Yeah. And that's the most important thing, is getting the help.
Sure. Yeah. But the key thing is to raise awareness and to understand that you can make a difference by asking the right question, by recognizing the sort of symptoms, if you like, or and recognizing the, you know, and just by asking the right questions and making the right sort of, you know, statements, and giving the right guidelines as to, well, and then signposts, understanding how to actually point them in the right direction then. Yeah.
Yeah, and the scenarios are really, really good, because they give examples of, you know, one person that's not suicidal and what to do in that case, and then other people that may be suicidal and what to do in that case.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really, really informative. And as I say, you have it done in 30 minutes. Yeah. And you know, you are then able to know what to do, what to say, and where to go for help.
Sure, and it's brilliant the way, like, when I took the training, and I was able just to post that up on social media, so then people know where to go then, and how to do the training, and how simple it is to take the training. And so people are just taking the training and then posting it up on social media, sharing it with their friends. So through that system, the message is getting out there really quickly.
Oh my goodness, it's phenomenal, the power of social media. And you do get a certificate at the end of it, you know. And some people have actually missed that bit, you know, that you can actually, you know, put in your name and get your certificate and share it. And it's just really powerful, really powerful.
Yeah. I think the important thing, even, Angeline, I mean, I personally might never meet somebody in that situation, but if I share the training with somebody, so I share it with my friend, and then they could meet somebody tomorrow, and they could, you know, make use of the training straight away. So it's important to share as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so important to share. And that's what people have been doing. They've been really, really proactive, you know, in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible, Angeline, and it's fantastic. So tell me a little bit about the community that you work with. You've built a sort of a community of volunteers then, yeah?
Yeah, and do you know what? I think I probably have met all of them at this point, but a lot of them have not met each other.
Wow.
And we've been, because of COVID, you know, and it's like we have become firm friends. We're on Zoom calls all the time. Yeah. We have Sue Carty, who's works with the IRFU. She's a rugby coach and was a referee. She's now training women. Amazing woman. And then we have Clodagh Fleming, who is a power rocket. Her contacts and connections are just incredible. And then we've one guy, Seamus, from Donegal here, who's in New York. He's based in Manhattan. Wow. And he's been the project manager from day one. He just keeps us all on our toes, making sure we do what we say we're going to do, and by the time we say we're going to have it done. Yeah. And then we have a group of really powerful young people who are, you know, the college students kind of, and they have their own ideas and their own social media platforms, and again, really, really powerful. So we have a fantastic group and as I say, it's not that they've just bought into the idea, they actually own this program as if it was their own. They're absolutely passionate about it, and I couldn't ask for a better team. I could not ask for a better team.
Yeah, brilliant, Angeline. And so you've got people now probably reaching out to you already from different parts of the world, yeah?
Yes, we've had already, as I say, last night somebody from the USA had reached out, Canada, Turkey, really want to get involved in this program, and we will help the same as UK helped us. We will help as many people as we possibly can. We've no money, we've no, we could be looking for people to support and to, just, it's not that we want money. We don't actually need money at the moment. It's just word of mouth, and the training is, there's so many organizations out there that are doing fantastic work. So one of the things we really didn't want to do was just reinvent the wheel, doing something similar to the rest. This is just a powerful education that is needed right now, particularly because of COVID, and it's just making awareness, real awareness that what is possible just by doing those three things, that you can make a difference and you can save a life.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's incredible. So listen, the call to action for anyone listening to this, the call to action is to take the training. Just go on to, we'll put the details in the comments, ohana.ie. Go on to the website, take the training. It's very simple, 20 minutes to 30 minutes, and then get your certificate, and then share your certificate with your social media or with your friends, so that encourage other people to take the training.
Yeah, absolutely. So
it's that simple.
It's that simple. It's that simple.
And
it could make such a big difference to people, to a community, because it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating when somebody, takes their own life.
Sure. Angeline, thank you so much. I mean, it's just an incredible initiative, and I'm so thrilled to get the opportunity to share with you and to find out a little bit more about it. And so I'd encourage everybody just to take the training and to share it and keep on sharing it. And you're doing an amazing job. I mean, you've got already over 100,000 people already in the space of 6 weeks. My God, that's incredible.
It's just the rugby. Actually, the rugby groups started it off, tagging other clubs, and that's kind of, and then the GAA took it on. The NOSP, the National Office of Suicide Prevention, are sharing it on their platforms on Twitter. And we have the NHS have already endorsed it, with the UK. So we're thrilled that the response has been so good. Really thrilled.
You really are making a difference. It's fantastic. I'm delighted to get to meet you and to share this. So thank you so much today. And guys, please please take the training and please share. And we'll put up the details. Anyone who's watching, and we'll share this video as well on social media, so people can get to know who Angeline is a little bit more, and put a face behind ohana.ie. And Angeline, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure to get to meet you today.
Thank you, John. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.